Okay, good afternoon. So we are now looking at the topic in production and operation management, an assignment review. Okay, so getting down to question 1 of this assignment. So question 1 of this assignment is talking about the summer. This company, the summer, produces a variety of recreation and leisure products. The production manager has developed an aggregate forecast. So we have the forecast from June through to December. Now, for this one, what this one is actually telling us is that this demand, we are supposed to meet this demand because this is what customers are demanding. Okay, and then we have the regular production cost, which is $80 per unit. Then the overtime production cost is $120 per unit. And then we have the subcontracting cost is $140 per unit. So we have the regular production cost, $80 per unit, overtime production cost, $120 per unit. The subcontracting cost is $140 per unit. We have the holding cost, which is $10 per unit. We have the back order cost, which is $20 per unit. We have the regular capacity, which is 40 units. That is per month. The overtime capacity is 8 units per month. The subcontracting capacity is 12 units per month. All right, so then the beginning stock, which is the opening stock, which was 0 units. The safety stock, which is the same as buffer stock, which is actually, okay, so the buffer stock is actually 0 units. So these are the units that we have in terms of the safety stock and in terms of the buffer stock. All right, so now getting down to these ones, we are simply now trying to develop the aggregate plan using each of the following guidelines and compute the total cost of the plan. So getting down to this question, this one we know is on aggregate planning. So aggregate planning, this is the planning that deals with production, the number of workforce, number of workers required in production, the production units required, and or anything else. Okay, and of course the strategies that we have concerning the aggregate planning. So for the first one, says develop an aggregate plan using each of the following guidelines and compute what? And compute the total cost of the plan. Okay. So the first one, it says use a regular production supplement using inventory, the overtime, the subcontracting as needed. Then no backlogs allowed. The hint should be you will need extra output in July and November to accommodate demand in the following months. So what this one means is that the first one as much as we are producing to meet the demand, because here we have the requirement is that for the first one, we are supposed to produce to meet the demand. All right, so using the regular production, and then on a regular basis, we are producing how many units? Capacity is 40 units per month. On the regular capacity should be 40 units per month. All right. So getting down to this one, what it means is that we are supposed to meet our demand forecast of these units. The 50 in June, July 44 units, August 55 units, September 60 units, October 50 units, November 40 units, December 51 units. So these are the demand units that we have that we are supposed to meet. We're supposed to meet these demand units. All right, so now what we are trying to say here is that on this one, where it says use a regular production, supplement, inventory, overtime, and subcontracting. Of course, we cannot go beyond the limit of subcontracting. We can't go beyond 12 units per month. We can't go beyond overtime units of 8 units per month. We can't go beyond that because that's our capacity. Of course, we know overtime is cheaper because it is $120 per unit. The subcontracting is $140 per unit. So what is going to happen here is this. We are going to say, okay, you're using the regular to supplement inventory and overtime together with subcontracting. So these are the demand forecasts. So on the regular production, we shouldn't go, you see 40 units per month, that is on regular production, should be 40 units per month. But we need to meet the demand of 50 in June, 44 in July, 55 in August, September is 60, October is 50, November is 40, December is 51. So these are the units that we need to meet as we are supposed to meet our demand. All right, so what this one is telling us is that we need to produce to meet our demand. So in June, we are on a regular basis, we should produce 40. Now, to meet the demand of 50 units, we should go for an overtime of 80 units and subcontracting of 2 units so that the total comes to 50 units as we produce to meet demand. So for this one, you simply say produce to meet demand. So on the regular production is 40 units, and we need to meet the demand forecast of these ones that we have here. So meaning for June, we would have produced 40, there's a shortage of 10 to meet the 50. So we can allow overtime. Why are we allowing overtime? It's because the overtime is cheaper than the overtime units. Okay, so overtime is cheaper than subcontracting. The overtime is $120 per unit, and subcontracting is $140. So it's cheaper, and maximum capacity of overtime that we allow here is 8 units. That is the maximum overtime capacity is 8 units. And then the subcontracting capacity is 12 units per month. So it is cheaper to allow subcontracting. All right. So it is cheaper to allow subcontracting. That is, it is cheaper to allow the overtime than the subcontracting, because overtime is $120 per unit. Subcontracting is $140 per unit. All right. So this is about why we are simply saying this overtime is cheaper. So that's why we can go for all the units, overtime 8 units, subcontracting 12 units. So from here we have the okay, so we can see here we are going to have the overtime of 8 units and subcontracting 2 units, which is giving us the total of 50 units, because we have the 40 units here. And then we have overtime of 8 units. And then we have subcontracting of 2 units, which is giving us the total of 50 units to meet our focus of 50. The regular here is 40, meaning that we can only allow overtime of 4, so that we can meet our demand focus of 44. As we get down to August, regular basis is 40. Then what happens? We can allow overtime of 8, which is giving us 48 units. Then we subcontract 8 so that we have 55 to meet the demand of 55. Regular production, September 40. Then our overtime is 8. Our subcontracting is 12. Then we are meeting our demand of 60 there. Getting down to October, we have the focus of 50. Then we have a 40 there, then meaning that we can have overtime of 8, subcontracting of 2, and which is making us having the demand focus of 50. Then here we can have the 40 units in November, meaning that there is no overtime here and there's no subcontracting. So we would have actually met our demand. In December, we have the forecast of 51. So meaning that our regular production is 40 units, meaning that we can have overtime of 8 units and subcontracting of 3 units, so that we can have the total production of 51 units. So this is the breakdown. Now, the regular production cost, okay? The production on the regular basis is, the regular cost is $80 per unit. That is on the regular basis, is $80 per unit. Then we have the other one, which is overtime, is $120 per unit. The subcontracting is $140 per unit. So these are the ones that we have concerning these costs. All right, so meaning that as we get down to the cost now, we will be able to find the cost, where we are simply now saying, okay, we have the regular basis cost, which is the 80 by 40, which is a 32. So you get 3,200 throughout, meaning that we're multiplying the 40, each of these ones by 80. So it's a 3,200 as a regular cost. Of course, now we need also to factor in the overtime cost, because of the units for overtime, because the regular basis we're producing 40 units, and that we know we are supposed to have the total production as per demand forecast. So that's why we were just making sure that we could go for overtime where we have a shortage to meet the demand of 50. We have to go for overtime, and then the remainder we can subcontract. So now the overtime is 8 units here by the 120. Overtime is 4 units by 120. The 8 units by 120, the 8 units by 120, and then all that is overtime cost. Then looking at the total cost of overtime and then the regular cost. Then subcontracting, we only subcontracted 2 units in June. We also subcontracted 7 units in August. September, we subcontracted 12 units. October, 2 units. December, 3 units. And this now is telling us that the total cost now, after summing up these ones, we have the regular cost of 22,400, getting down to subcontracting cost of 3,640, meaning that it's as good as just looking at how many units we subcontracted. Each of these units that we subcontracted, then multiplying these units by the subcontracting cost per unit. So this is asked about why we're having these costs. So here on the regular cost, we have the 3,200 by 7, which is that, meaning that the 3,200 is just addition of each of these ones here, adding each of these here. Okay, meaning that we count how many they are, or just adding them, find the total at the far end, meaning that we go to 22,400. Then the other thing that we are supposed to consider here is for the overtime cost, addition of all these ones, and then we are getting the overtime cost of 5,280. Then subcontracting cost, we are getting down to subcontracting cost. We have to look at the month in which we subcontracted, because we had a breakdown of the production that we needed to meet the demand. So we needed to meet the demand of 15 June, 44 July, August 55, 60 September, October 50 units, November 40 units, December 51. On the regular basis, we couldn't produce all of them at once. There was a breakdown that on the regular production, there was supposed to be only 40 units, and that the subcontracting maximum capacity from the question was 8 units. So this is why the breakdown is coming like this, that as we look at regular production plus the overtime and subcontracting, should give us a total demand forecast so that we produce to meet the demand. So this is why we are simply saying on average, okay, the total units that were subcontracted, addition of all these ones, then multiplying by subcontracting cost per unit, we add these ones. So this is the total cost of this plan, 31,320. Okay, so the overtime cost, it was as a result of addition of these costs, this one by this one, the amount, this one by this one, coming from these units, this one by the other one, this one by this one, then this one by this one, just like that. Then we add that one. Then subcontracting cost, we have that cost of subcontracting. So this is the way we have the subcontracting cost, the overtime, and the regular cost, which is giving us the total cost of 31,320. Okay, so this is the total cost of the first plan that we have. All right, so the first one, we have Okay. For the first one, we have the regular one. So it says use the regular production supplement using inventory, the overtime subcontracting as needed. So this cost is the one we are from doing. The cost of all right, so this is the cost of chess strategy, more like chess strategy, using the regular production supplement, using inventory, overtime, subcontracting as needed. So it's the one we are from doing now. Now, there's a second one where it says use a level strategy. Use a level strategy. Okay, so here, this strategy that we say level, under this one, there is no hiring and firing. So under this one, there's no hiring and there's no firing. So this is it under this strategy. Okay. So what we're trying to simply say here is that for this second one, we are supposed to look at our level of production. So first and foremost, how do we get our level of production? That is the concern for the second strategy. So using the level strategy, so level production is summation of demand minus the beginning.
Hi, sir.
Yes, please.
Can you please just go through question 2 together, as I don't have it here with me. Question B together. I missed it.
Which on the solution or the question?
The question. The question.
Are you able to see it now?
Yes, please.
Okay, just hold on. Just hold on a bit. Okay, so on question number B, use a level strategy and a combination of backlogs. Backlog simply means stock outs. So this one is the stock out. Then also aspect of subcontracting, the overtime and inventory to handle variations in demand. So this is question B. Have you gotten it now? Have you seen it?
Yes. I'm on it.
Yes. So they have told us what to do here on question 2. But we are using the same information from here. So these are the demand. We need to meet the demand on this one. So first and foremost, what we need to do is to look at our level production. What would be our level production? Okay. So first and foremost, the thing to consider here is on our level production, because it says use a level strategy. Okay, so level strategy, what did I say? There's no hiring and firing. But if the constant workforce, the state workforce cannot produce to meet demand, there are things we consider. So here, using level strategy, first we have to look at the level production, which is equal to summation of demand minus beginning stock over number of periods. Summation of demand minus beginning stock over number of periods. So our level production is summation of demand. These demand units, they are coming from the topmost. So this is our level production. summation of demand, then minus the beginning stock, because you can't produce what is already there. So that's why we are subtracting the beginning stock. Now, from here, what we are simply saying is that the beginning stock, beginning inventory, in the question, it was given that the beginning stock is 0 units and the safety stock is 0 units. The buffer stock is 0 units. So what we can now say is that we will now get down to this. We are simply saying level production summation of demand minus beginning stock over number of periods. So on our level production, we are simply saying is 350 divided by 7, which is 50 units. This is on our level production. So what next? We need, or we should produce total units of 50 units. Okay, so we are going to produce the total units of 50. Now, if the 50 units will not be enough, we are going to use the method of what they have mentioned in the question. In the question, they have mentioned that if we use the level strategy with the combination of backlogs. So stock out, it's whether you tell customers that you don't have the stock, or you can subcontract to give other organization that can also produce goods that you produce. You can also allow overtime, and you can allow inventory. That is, if you produce more than what is demanded. This is what this strategy is all about. So they're talking about when you level basis, if you have 11 workers who cannot produce to meet demand, then you can be forced to work overtime. Even if you work overtime, if overtime will not still meet your demand, you can subcontract. You just give somebody else to produce those goods on your behalf. If subcontracting will not also be there, you can just declare that you don't have stock. That is the back order backlogs. You simply tell customers that no, we are under pressure, we can't meet the demand. But in a situation whereby we can manage to meet our demand and we can produce more than what is demanded, then it is very possible that we can have inventory that we can keep as closing stock that we can carry to tomorrow, because we can have an excess stock that we have overproduced more than demand. All right, so now getting down to this one, what we're simply saying is that as we produce the 50 units using the level production, subcontracting, overtime, and back order units, we have the June, July, August, September, October, November, December. The demand forecast 50, 54, 55, 60, 50, 40, and 51. Even if we're going to produce the total units of 50 units, this one should have a breakdown. Okay. So what would be the breakdown? The breakdown of this total production of 50 units will be that 40 will be on a regular basis. All right. So 40 is on a regular basis from the total of 50 units. And of course, what happens next? It is cheaper to allow overtime. Overtime is cheaper because the overtime is actually $120 per unit, and overtime is 8 units per month. The overtime is 8 units per month. Subcontracting is 12 units, but it is expensive to subcontract. So what we need to do now here is that all the 8 units remaining, because what we're simply saying now is that we need to have a total production of 50. This one should be total 50. Total 50 from the breakdown here. And what is now going to happen is that from this 50, on the regular basis, we are producing 40 units. And then after the 40 units, we are saying on the regular production is 40 units, meaning that there's 8 units that should be overtime. 2 units constantly should be subcontracting that this is 10 plus 40, it will give us a total production of 50 units. Why 8 units, all of them? Because it's cheaper to allow overtime, because it's about $120 per unit. Subcontracting is $140 per unit. So this is just about what we are saying. All right, now we have this one where we simply say inventory, meaning that ending stock. How do we get our ending stock? Ending stock is equal to beginning stock, then plus production, then minus the demand. So this is the formula or the equation for the ending stock. Ending stock is equal to beginning stock, then plus production, minus the demand. So this is, or now you look at ending stock. What should remain should be what we opened with plus the production, then minus the demand. All right, so getting down from to this one, this is why we're simply now saying that our ending stock is 0, because we are saying beginning plus production, these two aggregate them, beginning plus production minus demand. If you are behind, please, if anyone else is behind, please let me know. Is anyone with me?
Yeah, I'm behind.
Are people getting what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
hello?
Yes, we're getting you loud and clear.
Yes, so all those who are behind, please, it could be because maybe you joined a little bit late, but you see there's an aspect of level production here, which is 50 units. This is our total production. Now, this total production should have a breakdown. You can only allow the regular production from the 50 is 40 units from there. So it's 40 units that they have been only allowed to produce on a regular basis. The 40 unit regular production is 40 units. So even if you're supposed to produce a total of 50, this 50 should have a breakdown. How are we going to have a breakdown? From here, the regular production should be, regular capacity should be 40 units. You have nothing to do about it, just mandatory that you need to have a regular production of 40. Then what happens? Because you need to produce 50. So you can subcontract 8 because it's cheaper to subcontract. Sorry, it is cheaper to allow overtime. Overtime is $120 per unit. It's cheaper for overtime. So if you produce a regular 40, you will need a 10. A 10, 8 will come from overtime. Then a 2, you can subcontract, even if the capacity for subcontracting is 12, but this total will give us a 50 there. All right, so this is why we are simply saying that but of course, feel free to ask questions where necessary, where you know that you are very behind. We have time still to explain. So what are we saying now? We are simply saying that our overtime is 8 throughout, our subcontracting is 2, our overtime is 8, subcontracting is 2, overtime is 8, subcontracting is 2, overtime is 8, subcontracting is 2, overtime is 8, subcontracting is 2. Then what happens now? We can find our ending stock. Ending stock is equal to beginning stock plus production minus the demand. So meaning our ending stock is 0. Ending stock 0 is the beginning stock for the other period. 0 plus 50 minus 44, you're getting 6. 6 comes here. So 6 plus 50, okay, from the equation that I've given out, ending stock is equal to beginning stock plus production minus demand. Beginning stock is the same as opening stock. So beginning stock and opening stock are the same. So this one is on production. Then what else? Minus this one is the demand. So this is on how you get to this. This is the closing stock or ending stock. Okay. So this is about what goes on. So here, in September, we didn't even have a physical stock that we closed with because opening was 1 plus 50 is 51. To meet the demand of 60, we are under pressure. We have -9. In fact, what we are simply saying is that we don't even have the physical stock. We don't even have it there. It's negative. It's not there. So this negative comes here, -9 plus 50. To meet the demand of, so -9 plus 50 is 41. To meet the demand of 50, we have the -9. So -9 here plus 50 is 41. To meet the demand of 40, we have ending stock of 1. 1 comes here as beginning stock. 1 plus the 50 production is 51. To meet the demand of 51, you have 0. So these negatives, they're simply indicating that we have done all our best, whatever it is that we could have done, but we still have a negative here. We don't have the physical stock to meet the demand. We have the shortage of -9, but we have actually looked at the regular production of 40 units. We have actually allowed overtime of 8 units. We have actually been subcontracted of 2 units, but still we have a problem here. To meet our demand, we have the shortage of those negatives. So those that simply means that as much as we have done our best, we can simply now say that those are the back order costs, the stock out costs. We don't have those units, so to speak. So now, what does it mean? It means that we are going to incur the stock out cost. So here, that's why they said no backlogs are allowed at the final period. There should be not backlog in the final month or in the final period. In short, we shouldn't have a negative. We shouldn't have a stock out unit in the final what? In the final month. That is what that means. All right. So this is about what we are talking about. So what we are saying now is that the back order cost per unit. Back order cost is $20 per unit. That's the back order cost. It's $20 per unit. Okay. So this is what we have here. So we are going to say we are going to have now our regular cost, which will be the 40 throughout multiplied by 80. 40 throughout multiplied by 80. That is it on the aspect of the regular cost. Overtime is constant at 8 multiplied by overtime cost per unit, which is 120, which is 960 throughout. Then subcontracting, we subcontracted 2 units throughout, so multiplying that by the subcontracting cost per unit of $140 gave us a 280 throughout. Then we had our backlogs, okay, or the stock out units, stock out cost. In which month? In back order units, we had in 9 in September and also 9 in October. So these are the back order units. Okay. So these are the back order units. The 9 in September and then the 9 in October. So what this one simply means is that we should multiply by back order cost per unit And our back order cost per unit, we can check the back order cost per unit was actually $20 per unit. So this is why we are going to have this cost. So the cost will be regular cost of 22,400, meaning that addition of all these ones, this one, these ones here, it is giving us 22,400. The overtime cost is 6,720, meaning that addition of these ones here, it's giving us the overtime cost of 6,720. Then what else? Subcontracting is to aid by these months, okay, June through to December, which is giving us 1,960. Then the back order cost, we adjust these ones here, which is now giving us back order cost of 360. Then holding cost, the holding cost that we have here, we physically had to hold physical stocks in the 6 here, which was ending stock physically, the one here, physical stock, ending stock, and then there was another one here, which is the physical ending stock. So meaning after adding these ones, the ending stock physically were 8 units, and the holding cost, which is in the physical stock, the ending stock is actually holding cost is $10 per unit per month. So it was $10 per unit per month. So what we are trying to say now here is that we are going to have the $80. So the total is coming to 31,520. So this is the cost of this plan. Ending stock is equal to beginning stock plus total production minus demand. This is an equation for the ending stock. All right, so now which strategy is cheaper? You compare the two answers. The other one was 31,320, then the other one was 31,520. So the first strategy is cheaper than this one. Unless there are questions so far, if people want to ask questions, please feel free to ask questions before we move to the other question 2 of this assignment paper. Are people following?
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes, I've noticed in B, we've got this inventory, but in A, I think we don't have inventory. And I'm asking this, I'm looking at specifically the month of July.
Yes.
Okay, so in the month of July, we've got the forecast of 44, and then the regular the production, which is 40. Then we have overtime 8, is it?
Yes.
So for us to meet the demand of 44, we've got 40 and 48. Don't you think we're going to have the ending inventory of 4?
The way it is here is like this. We have our level production. Check our level production is what? Formula is summation of demand minus beginning stock over using the level strategy. So this is the formula. So we are producing how many units? We are producing 50.
Sorry about that. I was taking you to the first one. To the first one.
The one which is part, which one are we talking about? Part B, we have the ending stock.
Yes, no, part A. Part A.
No, part A. Part A, we are producing to meet our demand. That's the thing. So
okay, so I was looking particularly July.
So what we are simply saying here, our demands are these. So whatever we are doing, we should produce only to meet demand, so that we shouldn't carry anything. We shouldn't have any ending stock. Only producing to meet the demand. That's all.
Okay.
So meaning,
if that is the case.
Yeah. So what happens is you are only producing to meet the demand. Nothing less, nothing more. So meaning on a regular basis is 40. So what remains is that for this one in June, we're supposed to meet a demand of 50. So what happens? we can allow overtime of 8, and the other 2 should be overtime, so subcontract, so that the total of 8 plus 2 plus 40 gives us a 50.
Okay, I hear you. And then in July?
In July, we're supposed to meet our demand of 44, but we can only produce on a regular basis of 40. So what should we do? There's a 4 remaining, so we can only allow overtime, no subcontracting.
So this 4, we get it from the overtime of 8.
Even if the overtime was supposed to be maximum of 80, we cannot allow overtime of the 8 because we're only producing to meet the demand.
Oh, great. I hear you then. Because I was thinking that.
And even in August, we're only supposed to meet a demand of 55. So meaning 40 regular basis. So the way we're going to produce to meet the demand of 55 is that on a regular basis, we'll allow 40, we'll produce 40 units. Now, the 15 units, what are we going to do with? You can allow overtime because overtime is cheaper. 8, that's the maximum we can go for. Then the rest we can subcontract.
Okay, I hear you there.
Then in September as well, we have a demand of 60, but on a regular basis, we can only produce 40 units, meaning that what happens to the 20? So the 20, 8 of them maximum will come from overtime. The 12 will come from subcontracting. Are we okay?
Great. I think I think my confusion was on the same July.
Okay,
I was thinking that since we've got 8 overtime, why are we not bringing 8 and then we're just getting 4 out of there? Meaning that the excess, I was thinking that maybe it could be the closing inventory to meet the demand of 44.
No. Kai, what happens is that that 8 was just the capacity. You know what it means? That was the maximum possible that we can go for overtime. But we can go for less than that, but not more than 8. Because it says capacity. You know what it means? The capacity of the stadium is 20,000 people. So that's the maximum, but we can go for less than that.
Okay, so in this case, we didn't have inventory.
Yes, there's no inventory in the first one because even if our capacity is 8, we are only producing to meet our demand in this case, and our demand that we're meeting, meaning that anything else is not, we are not interested. So from the overtime, we can only allow 8 units that we can allow overtime, not the maximum of 8, all of them, no.
Okay, so the lecturer was trying to confuse us here on this they're saying using regular production, supplement using inventory, and in this case, we don't have inventory.
Yes, okay. There shouldn't be inventory in that one because there is no way you can supplement using inventory because all what you are doing here, we are only producing to meet the demand. All right, so we're only producing here to meet the demand. The way the inventory would have come in is on the level strategy B, where we are producing on the level basis. Okay, I think you get my point, right?
Yeah, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, because what happens is you have this one now here for part B. Part B, you can see that we have the total production is 50 units. So from this, it will have a breakdown, of course. So we're producing on living the level, meaning that on the regular is 40 units throughout, meaning that the other 10 will break down to overtime. Okay, we should produce regardless of demand in this case. We're not producing to meet the demand of this one, no. We're just producing on the level basis of 50 units. So regular is 40, then we can break down 80 overtime throughout, and subcontracting is 2. Then if we can say our ending stock is equal to beginning stock plus production minus what? Demand. So here, ending stock is equal to beginning stock plus production minus demand. Then we can see that we are carrying inventory here. All right, so like in the first one, we didn't carry any inventory. The other one, we carried inventory of 6 that we also carried to August. From there now, we added, it was ending stock of 1 in August, September, beginning stock of 1. The ending stock was actually it wasn't even there. It was a negative, which is the backlog. And then the examiner mentioned that there should not be any backlog in the final period. There shouldn't be any stock out units in the final period. So it will be a zero stock out in the final period. So this is why the backlog was zero in the backlog units were zero in the final period, in December, that is. Then we had only negatives here that we tried our best that we could have allowed regular production and the overtime and subcontracting, but we still could not meet our demand in September and October because of the negative values here, meaning that those were stock out units, the backlogs, and we could have multiplied those by the backlog units cost per unit. So this is the reason why we have the regular cost of 22,400 coming from this one, addition of all these. The overtime was constant throughout 8 by 120, and then the subcontracting was 2 by 140. Getting down, we had these ones, and the holding cost, because we had the physical stock of 6 in July, and as well as August 1 unit, November 1 unit physical stock, that gave us the total cost of 31,520. So is it clear so far as we're looking at question number 1?
Yes.
That's fair enough.
Okay, all right then. So the time that was allocated to me by Mr. Njov was about just now. So we may just do part of question 2, and not necessarily that we may finish it, but we may do part of question 2. Question 2 was on the MRP, which is material requirement planning. All right, so under this question 2 on MRP, we were given the so okay, I know there are some other discrepancies that could have come because of other solutions like this one, 31,250. It's because of the clarity that I've mentioned. These other ones, they are minorities for ending stocks and all that. So it's because of what I've been explaining. So that's why there's a question mark for these total figures. All right, for these other ones that were done. Now here we can look at the MRP one. So for MRP, the question here is talking about the Third King Zambia replenishes its 3 regional distribution centers in Harare, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, and Longwe from Lusaka Central Supply Warehouse. So the center, the distribution schedule for one of these products for the next 6 weeks shown in the table. Use a proper distribution and requirements planning logic to complete the replenishment schedules of the 3 regional centers and central supply warehouse. So meaning here, when we're supposed to fill in here, inventory should not fall below the safety stock. Safety stock is 5. You shouldn't go beyond. You shouldn't go less than. We shouldn't go less than the 5 at the safety stock. Lead time is 1. It's a fixed order of 30, meaning that the scheduled receipts are zeros here. So what it means is that what is going to happen here is that you should add the 10 what you have opened with plus the scheduled receipts that you have received from your suppliers to meet the demand. This gross requirement is the same as D, which is a demand. So when you have the on hand plus the scheduled receipts, you add these, you aggregate. To meet the demand of 0, you still have 10 on hand because no one else has demanded for it. Okay, then in week 2, we have the scheduled receipts of 0, then plus 10, which is 10. To meet the demand of 20, we have a shortage of 10 units. All right. So this is the reason why if you look at this one here, all right, we would discover that in equation 2, the Harare Distribution Center, we had the on hand of 10. So 10, then plus 0 is 10. To meet the demand of 0, you still have 10 units on hand. That is a physical stock. Then in week 2, we have actually our demand, which is the gross requirement, the same as demand. So it's 10 units, then plus 0 to meet the demand of 20. There is a shortage of 10 units, which is the net requirements. So net requirements are shortage units required to meet demand. Now, what have they told us to do? They've told us that whenever you have a shortage to meet the demand, you need to order the fixed amount of units. All right. So in this case, you need to order for the array. You need to order a fixed units of 30 units, regardless of the demand. So you need to order 30 units, regardless of what? The demand units. So what happens when you order the fixed of 30 units? What goes on here is that when you order the 30 units, you can sort out the problem, the requirement. So in this week where there's a problem, you can order the 30 units, then you'll sort out the requirement. You're going to have on hand of 20 units. So this 20 plus 0 minus the 0 here. So we have the 20 plus 0 minus the 0. You still have the 0 units, the 20 units on hand. So we go further now. You say 20 plus 0, it is a 20. To meet the demand of 55, there is a net requirement with the shortage units of 35. What happens when you have shortage units of 35? You can order the fixed batches, 2 batches of 30. That's why you can order. Because if you order 30, it may not be enough to meet the requirement of 35. So that's why we should order 2 batches of 30, which is we order 60, because we are using the fixed order quantity. All right, so using the fixed order quantity of 30 units from the question. So please take note of the information given in the question. We are ordering the fixed ordering quantity of 30 units. We are ordering regardless of what? Of demand.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please.
Are we just starting?
Hello. I can get, yes, you can go on with the question.
I think we've lost her.
Okay, you are welcome. You can call again, just where you are not clear. Just that I know you could have joined us when we are looking at question 2, but we started from question 1. For those who are there, question 1. If you missed question 1, please don't worry. You'll be Mr. Njovu will be able to share with you the recordings, this video, so that in your own time you'll be able to go through and understand whatever it is where we started from. All right, so what we are simply saying here is that we are using the fixed ordering quantity of 30 units regardless of the demand units. So we are not ordering so here we're using a fixed ordering, so regardless of the demand. So what is happening here is that we had opening stock of 10 units, and our demands are these are demand units. The gross requirements present the demand. So what it means is that 10 plus 0, the schedule receipts we usually add to on hand. The schedule receipts we add to on hand is because these receipts, we receive them from our suppliers to supplement on what we have opened with. All right, so meaning 10 plus 0 to meet the demand of 0 is we still have 10. 10 plus 0 to meet the demand of 20. We are under pressure. We have a shortage of what? 10 units in this week too. So what happens? We should order the fixed units of 30 units. That's the fixed ordering quantity that they gave us. So after ordering this, we can sort out this problem. We can remain with the 20 20 plus 0 to meet the demand of 0. We still have on hand of 20. 20 plus 0 to meet the demand of 55. We are under pressure. We have a shortage of 35. Now, this 35 that we have, we can order the 2 batches of 30. Okay, so meaning order skis which will be enough that we need to now remain on hand with 25. 25 plus 0 to meet the demand of 0. We still have the 25 here that no one else has demanded them. 25 plus 0 to meet the demand of 0 is still have 25. What's the lead time? Lead time in this case was given. Our lead time was what? Our lead time was actually 1 unit. All right, so it was 1 week. So meaning that for you to have a receipt in that week, okay? So for us to have a receipt in this week, with this one would have been released 1 week before, so come back 1 week. If the lead time was 2, this would have come backwards twice. So this is why we are saying the planned order release is 30 units in week 1, 60 units in week 3. So from here, we can counter check something that this one is correct, because this is about what we're having. It's the same one for that one there. So getting down to Rwanda, okay, so Rwanda distribution center, we are simply now saying these ones were given as the gross requirements. Okay, so this is just Rwanda. What are we using for Rwanda? Rwanda, we are using what? We are using our lot for lot. So lot for lot simply means order and net requirements. Safety stock is 2. It means inventory should not fall below the safety stock. Even in the first attempt that we have looked at here, in the first one, inventory was not supposed to fall below 5. That's why they said safety stock is what? Inventory should not fall below the safety stock. Inventory level should not fall below what? The safety stock. So meaning either opening or closing should not fall below the 5. In this case, our safety stock was 5. It was 5 units. So that's the reason why the safety stock was given. Okay. So this is about what goes on. So for the Rwanda, for this one, we are ordering the net requirements. So here, when we say Q is equal to lot for lot, simply means order net requirements. Order net requirements. So this is what goes on. So order the net requirements. So this is on it. On this one. All right. So here we're simply saying we are ordering the net requirements. So meaning that the opening stock was 15, 15 plus 0 minus, and the safety stock here was what? Safety stock was 2 units. Safety stock was what? 2 units. Meaning that inventory should not fall below the 2 units. Okay. Inventory should not fall below the 2 units. So under this one, 15 plus 0 minus 0, we are still having 15. 15 plus 11, the 11 was given as a scheduled receipts. You add these minus 20. We are getting the 6 there because this is 26 minus 20, which is 6. All right. So meaning that in a question, this was given. Okay. For this one, and we're using lead time of 2, safety stock of 2. Inventory should not fall below the safety stock levels. So here we have the 6 plus 0 minus 0. It will give us the net requirement of 4. Now, we are supposed to order the net requirements. Like lot for lot, we are supposed to order the net requirements. So here we would have ordered the 4. Now, if we had ordered the 4, we would have remained with 0, which would have violated the rule of safety stock, because it says inventory level should not fall below the safety stock levels. So that's why we actually ordered 6. Why 6? So that after ordering 6, we can sort out the requirement of 4 and remain with the buffer stock of 2 units. The buffer stock of 2 units was given in the question. So inventory should not fall below the safety. That's why we ordered the 6 in there, so that we know that inventory should not fall below the safety stock levels. So the 2 came in here. So 2 plus 0 minus 0 is 2. So we're adding these. And then here, 2 plus 0 minus 0 is 2. Now here, 2 plus 0 minus 20 is 18. We would have ordered 18, but because of the fact that inventory should not fall below the safety stock of 2 units, that's why we ordered the 20 units, so that after ordering 20 and sorting out this problem, we can still remain with a buffer stock of 2 units to execution on demand units, according to what this paper is about. So the safety stock is 2 units here in this case. All right. So this is the reason why we have the solution in this way, okay, for Rwanda. All right. So similarly, as we go to Lilongwe, we're supposed to know what are they talking about. Lilongwe, they have told us that the safe stock should be 0. It's okay. So meaning that even if you don't have any buffer stock for this one, it's okay. All right. But before going to Lilongwe, what we are simply saying that for this one, we're supposed to go backwards 2. For us to have a receipt here, supposed to go backwards 2 because the lead time was 2 for Rwanda. Rwanda lead time was 2. So meaning that for us to have a receipt in this week, okay, in week 3, meaning that this one should be released 2 weeks before. And then for us to have a receipt in week 6 of 20, it's supposed to be released 2 weeks before. So this is about how we have found the Rwanda Distribution Center as the MRP for Rwanda. All right, so this is about how we are getting down to these the MRP. And because these topics are in detail, because we need to have different classes that you understand these topics in detail, be it for aggregate planning, inventory management, MRP, and any other topic in production and operation management. We need to have more time as we go, so that they run you through slowly the topics so that you can understand them in detail. Okay, so as we end on the Lilongwe, it's here because Lilongwe also was given. So what is important is the concept. So these are the demand units that were given, Lilongwe, demand, and then the scheduled receipts were zeros. And then here we are using the fixed ordering quantity of 60 units regardless of demand. So we can order 60 units regardless of whatever is required. That's what it means by fixed order quantity. FOQ means fixed order quantity. So please take note. Okay, so now this is why we are having the, so for the Lilongwe, we are adding the 20, okay, 20 plus 0 minus 10, which is 10. 10 plus 0 minus 0 is 10. 10 plus 0 minus 0 is 10. 10 plus 0 minus 45. We have the net requirement, which is a shortage. Okay, this is the shortage of what? The shortage of 35. What happens when you have the shortage of 35? We should order a fixed basis of 60 units. Okay, so when you order 60, you can sort out this problem and remain with 25. 25 plus 0 minus 0 is 25. 25 plus 0 minus 0 is 25. So this is about how this is long. And then the lead time for this one was actually 1 week. So for us to have a receipt in this week, in week 4, this can be released 1 week before the 60 should come here. So this is our MRP for the long way. So this is just about what goes on as we are looking at MRP, which is the material requirement plan. So we have a 60 here, there was a 20 here, and a 20 here. All right. So please take note of what is going on here. So the most important thing is to understand the concept, or other things may not be an issue. I know, apologies, I may have been too fast somehow, but we have to just take time for the other classes coming so that we'll be taking you slowly as we go topic by topic. I'm sure people have picked up one or two things, unless there are further questions that somebody would want to ask. Are there some questions? Are there some questions, please?
No questions from my end.
Okay, boss. So what is important is the concept you have actually gotten it. Make sure this recording, this video will be shared with you, so you have time to go through. And then for other topics coming, we'll be taking you slowly so that we'll be digesting topics in detail as we be looking at different other questions in each and every topic, so that you can get ready for your exams. So we can end the class for now.
Before we end the class,
Yes.
you mentioned in question 1 that there were some discrepancies. What are those? Are they material or not significant?
Okay, those ones, I know there's other things that, like in an example, we had the solutions that other people compiled, like here. Those are immaterial. What I mean is that where I actually gave you the presentation of the course that are involved here, the ones I did this one here. The minor things that in the other document here that was done elsewhere, we find that you can have a 22,400 there, but find that here there are some minor discrepancies. The examiner may not penalize you that much, but that's why we took time to run you through using this document, because this document, I'm defending it. I'm defending my document because of the fact that there's something else that I've actually explained. All right, there's something else I've actually explained. That's why I'm defending mine. Of course, others they can go for the other document, but I'm trying to defend this one so that you know how this one was done. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So should we take it that the way those figures have been presented, so we take them the way they are?
Because what happens is the examiner may also ask you to actually explain the assignment. That's why we are having this discussion right now, so that if it need to be, the examiner would want you to explain how you found those answers, then it may not be an issue, because you have actually gone through this and you can understand where the 40 is coming from, the 8 is coming from, and whatnot.
Much appreciated.
Okay, thank you very much. We can end the class for now.
Aren't we going to go through the last one?
Okay, that last one is just a concept that we need to, because my battery is running a bit low, but we'll be able to also, just a concept to build up on, is just exactly what we are doing there. So no worries much about that. We can also handle it. There's no problem there. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So we are still together. We'll also be able to handle other questions. Any other questions we can there will be another session for the class that we can also go through, especially if you want me to come and run through again, especially for the last part of this one. There's no problem. But for as long as we have gotten the concept, that is what is important. Okay, so we can end the class for now.
All right, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay.